typical nature of the relationship by saying the son's face is turned towards Mawlana because Mawlana's face is turned towards Shams. There's a beautiful step that happens in many mentoring relationships when the mentor gives up on the idol of transforming the murid from that which they have come to imagine for them and sees them for who they are and who they are intended to be. Shams reaches the point where he sees the final worth of Mawlana, which he praises in the lofty statement of, and I quote, "Even the prophets are in sad anguish, yearning to be in his presence." He says, "Whoever wishes to see the Payghambar, God's messenger, should see Mawlana. How blessed is the one who has found him." The third section is about Suhbat after Shams. Where does one go in life after Shams is gone? Where do we look after that heart-transforming, ravishing beloved comes and goes? How do we feel the presence of God after the ones through whom we most directly felt the presence of God are gone? The story of Shams and Mawlana does not end with Shams. Because after Shams, there's not just Jalal, but there's now Hazrat Mawlana, who has found God inside and all around. This Mawlana is not raw, not cooked, but on fire. Suhbat also does not end with Shams. There would be other friendships, other loves, other mirrors. So there's Salahuddin Zaku, and there's Chalabi Husamuddin. What do we hear in Aflaki's Manaqib al-Arifin? When Mawlana finished searching for Shamsuddin Tabrizi and came to witness the latter's secrets within himself, he led forth Sheikh Salahuddin. Listen to it again. When he finished searching for Shamsuddin, when he's done with finding Shams outside, he came to find Shams's secrets within himself. And it's the secret of Shams that we continue reciting in the Mevlevi ritual. Baraye dam Hazrat Mawlana, sirr Shams Tabrizi, karam Imam Ali, hu begu. The identity of the relationship that Mawlana had found, the gift of Suhbat, is something that Aflaki attests to explicitly. He states, Mawlana found the same friendship that Shams had with God in the outward form of Sheikh Salahuddin. Therefore, the same love and the same favor that he had shown Shams, now he showed Salahuddin. Before Shams, there's Jalaluddin Muhammad Balkhi, the erudite scholar, even familiar with Tasawwuf through the teachings of his father and Burhanuddin. After Shams, there's Hazrat Mawlana. The difference is not just Shams. The difference is the encounter. It is the encounter of Shams and Mawlana that offers the transformation, the redemption, the cooking. It's the meeting that offers us this cooking, the oven, the movement from gel to gul, from clay to rose, from bashar to insan, from a mere creature to the fully realized human being. May those of us who aspire to be enlightened by the sun continue to heed this lesson of knowing that the teachers are catalysts, not permanent icons. That the purpose of the ayat, the signs, and if you remember in the Quran, the signs are to be found in scripture, in nature, وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, inside the souls of humanity. So some people can also be the signs of God. That the purpose of the ayat of God is to indeed to point. As our Zen friends remind us, the finger is there to point the full moon, and we're not to stay stuck looking at the finger. Here's a story from Mawlana. One day Mawlana was sitting in the garden of Husamuddin Chalabi. He had his feet in the water and he was narrating many stories of praise about Shamsuddin. Badruddin, who was one of the great disciples, sighs. Oh. And he said, "Alas, what a shame." Mawlana says, "Why alas? What alas? What reason is there for alas? What place does alas have in our gathering?" Badruddin was embarrassed. He puts his head down and he said, "I felt regretful since I never got to meet Hazrat Mawlana Shamsuddin and I never got to benefit from his luminous presence." Mawlana was quiet for a long time and didn't speak a word. Afterwards he said, "Even though you never met Shams Tabrizi, may God exalt his mention, I swear by the sanctified soul of my father that you have arrived at the presence of one in whose every strand of hair there are 100,000 Shams Tabrizis. And even Shams would be bewildered in comprehending the secret of my innermost secrets." Mawlana's disciples became joyous and rose up in Sama. Let me end with one observation, which is not in the Turkish. Shams at one point says that so long as we are speaking about the great Anbiya and the great Awliya as if they are dead, we're just gossiping. It is as if we're talking behind dead people's backs. But that these ones, in a real sense, are presences that continue to be with us. In that sense, one of the things that I ask us to reflect on in my last minute is the idea that we speak about sohbet all the time, the talks and the teachings of masters. But sohbet is actually connected to that idea of being a sahaba, of a companion of the Prophet. These come from the same root. That to have a taste of the sweetness of sohbat is to have had a sense of what it would have been like to sit in the presence of the Prophet. And both Mawlana and Shams talk about this. Aflaki calls Mawlana Farzand Jan Muhammad, the child of Muhammad's soul, and Mawlana calls Shams Nur Mustafa, the light of Muhammad. When Mawlana talks about Shams, he says, "As Shamsul Haq bihaq rasidam." I went from Shamsul Haq to Haq. I went from Shams to God. And there's that lovely story about Syrianus, the Greek disciple of Mawlana, who got himself into a lot of trouble by calling Mawlana Khudasaz, God maker. So the more conservative types were going to call a trial and take him before a judge and say, "You're a heretic," because we all know that God is without beginning, without end. How can Mawlana be God maker? And he says, no, my language is not very good, you don't understand. When I call Mawlana God maker, I mean to say that Mawlana makes God real to me. He makes God real for me. Before Mawlana, God was a word. God was an idea. Now, he is real. So as many times as we talk about Hazrat Mawlana, Hazrat Shams Tabrizi, may we also realize that their gift to us is huzur, presence, divine presence that has transformed their own lives, and may we be also able to, inshallah, find this transformation inside ourselves. Çok teşekkür ederim. Aşk olsun.